Welcome to The Word with G. I'm your host, Greg Larnard, for SidelineBuzz.com. And today we're talking 2015 NFL Draft. And in the house we've got Matt Stopsky today, one of my good buddies, draft expert himself. Matty, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. All right, well, let's start with the local teams here in New York. First, we'll start with your New York Football Giants. What positions should the G-Men look to target in this upcoming draft?
Well, literally everything on defense they need help with, which is very odd for the Giants. Usually their defense is pretty solid. On the offensive side, they need a tackle. A lot of experts are saying right tackle. I think left. Will be the okay job at left. I really think he's more for a right tackle. But yeah, everything on defense, though. We can use another nickel. We lost Walter Thurmond. He left. We need a defensive end. Although Ayers is very good to go opposite JPP. Maybe someone else because he's a better rusher from the inside. We always need a linebacker, it seems. And we had no safeties anymore. So
that's right, ever since Antrell Roll left.
Yeah, Roll is now in Chicago.
That's right, unfortunately for me.
Oh, yeah, well, don't worry. He's not that good. You'll be fine. But, yeah, we could go anywhere on defense.
So, I've actually had a conversation with one of my other friends about this. If Amari Cooper was there, where you guys are picking, would you take him over maybe something more you need on the defensive end?
Absolutely not. Because I don't think Amari Cooper's that good.
That was my answer. I think Amari Cooper's good, but still, I think you guys need to focus more on the defensive end first and foremost.
What I've seen with Cooper is that he's a very good with the ball in his hands, a very good possession receiver, not good against press. And when you're going to go a guy as high as number 9, you want to be able to take on press coverage. And now he's a little small, but Odell Beckham Jr., also a very short guy, no problem with press coverage. So we have Cruz, who's going to play in the slot a little bit. We have Odell Beckham Jr. And really, McAdoo's offense, based off of your Green Bay Packers, it's a very receiver-friendly offense. So you don't need to go very high at receiver. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb are not high picks. So no need for receiver there. But I disagree with you. We need offense.
You do need some offense, yes, but I think you guys need to really shape that defense first before you get going on the offensive end.
Well, how I'm looking at the defense right now is we brought back Steve Spagnuolo, which is every Giants fan dream because we need him back. Since he left in 2008, it hasn't been the same. But on the other side, Eli had the 7th worst protection time according to Pro Football Focus last year. And although he hit the ball out pretty quick in McAdoo's offense, Eli wants to throw downfield. He needs another tackle. Pugh wants to move inside because he's short. So we need one more guy. And I think, although this year's draft is kind of weak, if we can find a tackle, that's where I want to go.
That's right. I was thinking more offensive playmakers, but you're right. The offensive line definitely could use a little boost. They did get that guy from the Canadian Football League, did they not?
They did, but I'm not putting my eggs in his basket. He might be great, but I would still want someone else there.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of players specifically, which players would you look to target if you were the Giants in this upcoming draft?
Well, I know the player I want to get is Andres Pete, the tackle from Stanford. He's 6'7", 313 pounds. That's a typical left tackle size. Besides that, a lot of scouts are saying he's not that strong. I'm not sure what they're looking at. I have seen him bury defenders into the ground, get back up, and bury another defender into the ground. He has great footwork. He has some issues, but every player in this draft has some issues. But he's definitely the best tackle I've seen, possibly even one of the best players I've seen. And the fact that he's going possibly as low as 19 in this draft blows my mind. Because they're saying Brandon Scherff from Iowa is a better player, and I think he's terrible. Now, they're saying he can move inside to guard. Yeah, but I still have him as a second-round grade. So Andres Pete's the guy I would really like them to take.
All right. What's more important for you? And we touched on this a little bit already. Weapons for Eli on the outside or the protection for him getting that ball down the field? I know you were leaning towards the protection. Is that still where you're going?
Oh, yeah. Because right now we have 3 good running backs, or maybe good is a strong term there.
Jennings a lot.
Oh yeah, Jennings is very good. Williams up and coming, and then you have Vereen. So that's plenty of running backs.
Very good receiving back. I like the addition of Vernon.
Oh, yeah. And we have, like I said, Cruz and Randall. That's fine. Donnell is coming up as a tight end. So really there's no need to get anybody else, at least not as high as 9. Now, maybe later in the draft, second round, third round, you want to add somebody, that's fine. But as high as 9, there's just no need with skill protection because there's no one else on this team that can protect Eli.
Yeah. Well, that's important. Definitely, like you said, in McAdoo's system, getting that ball out of his hand quick, getting the ball down the field, that's what it's all about. All right, so last thing for the Giants here. You touched on, we talked a little bit about Antrell Roll. How do they go about getting somebody in here at safety? Are they going to look to maybe in the later rounds draft the safety that can come in and play right away?
Well, the talk right now is, it's going to be between Nat Burhey and Bennett Jackson, 2 guys who are on the roster already. They have a lot of faith in Jackson. I haven't watched enough film on Jackson to really give my a solid opinion on him. So I'll take the coaches for what they say because he really didn't play a whole lot, so they saw him a lot more in practice. But as for this draft, there are 2 players that the Giants have been linked to. There's Hackett from TCU and Randall from Arizona State. Randall gets a lot more press because he's a bigger guy. Supposed to go second, third round. I'm not too hot on this kid. Hackett, though, supposed to go in the 4th round. Kid only got 8 picks last year in 13 games. So he's flying under the radar. He's a good tackler, good for a safety. He can tackle, but he's a ridiculous cover guy. You put him back there, he could start day 1, and that's in the 4th round. So it's about late round sleeper. Hackett from TCU.
That's good. I like that. I love those little nuggets, those late round sleepers you got. All right, let's shift over to the Jets now. What positions would you be looking for if you were the Jets? What positions would you want to be targeting in this 2015 draft?
Well, they're obviously set at quarterback.
Well, obviously, yeah.
So quarterback, guard.
And they just got Stephen Ridley, so it's running back.
Running back is good. Yeah. I would say quarterback, guard, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, safety are their biggest needs. Running back, yes, but those are the more pressing needs. Right now, Ivory showed he can do a decent enough job. Pair with Ridley and Bilal Powell.
Yeah, no,
Three's company.
I think you can win with a trio of backs that are serviceable. And like you said, Ivory runs hard. He hits the hole hard. Ridley, he's hurt every once in a while. Usually can't stay healthy. But Bilal Powell's always there, and that's a position where you can get by with a guy who's serviceable. You just need playmakers at other positions.
I totally agree. And the receiving core is great next year. People are going to hate on Brandon Marshall, but he's still a top receiver in this league. He may not be the best one anymore, but I would say he's still top 10 to 15. Without a doubt. Yeah, great position receiver. Goes really good with Decker. Now they have 2 big target guys for whoever plays quarterback. It's going to be really good. But I'd say number 1 is quarterback. They've been linked to Mariota, Petty, and Hundley in this draft. If they're smart, they won't go with either of them. They'll go
any of those 3 guys.
Any of them. Because they're linked to another quarterback in Phillip Rivers in San Diego. If they can land Phillip Rivers, for anyone who doesn't know this, Rivers is done with San Diego. He told them that he's not resigning next year. He's done with the whole, are we moving to L.A., are we not?
I was going to say...
Yeah, he's done.
Does that have to do with them moving to L.A.?
Yeah,
possibly?
He hates it. He doesn't like L.A., he just doesn't like the whole, are we, aren't we? And it's just getting annoying to him. San Diego's kind of still a young team. He needs to win now. He's almost 35. So if the Jets can take their 6th pick, exchange it for Rivers, San Diego would then have the 6th pick and their 17th pick to trade Tennessee number 2 to get Mariota, because they're not going to go in with no quarterback. That would be the Jets' best move. Cutler's also out there, and from my opinion, I think Cutler might be better than all of them. I know, it's painful. Not better than Rivers, but better than Hundley.
No, not painful. This is a confused face.
Listen, and this quarterback class is not good.
Oh, it's not good. You're right.
They're not good. And although we give Cutler a lot of crap, he's still a very good quarterback.
He's a better than average quarterback.
Yeah, oh yeah. He turns the ball over a lot, but he also makes a lot of plays. Oh yeah. Well. So does Eli.
Yes.
And so does Brett Favre.
Yes.
Didn't stop him from being great.
That's right.
Not saying
not
saying that Cutler is Brett Favre. I'm just saying, yes, as a fan,
I think in Cutler's mind, he'd like to compare himself to Brett Favre.
He might. No, but well, they're both fashion icons.
That's right.
At least Favre was with that ridiculous beard.
That's right. Yes.
But
yes.
yeah,
He's got the Wrangler jeans,
the Wrangler
beard.
Does his little podcast now. He thinks
yes,
it's you.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I saw he's got his own chef website or something like that he made during the Super. I don't know. It's crazy. Anyways, getting back to the Jets.
Yeah, so if they can get Quarter, they can get Rivers there, that would be the best because the Jets are built to win now. You know, they have a very good defense put together. They brought back Rivers and Cromartie, who were both not young. Their receiving core are guys in their prime or a little bit after their prime. So they got to win right now. Why would you want a guy like Hundley or Petty or Mariota in there who's going to take 3 or 4 years? By the time they're ready to go, that entire team's already retired. So trade the 6th pick, get Phil Rivers.
So you're not comfortable having Ryan Fitzpatrick lead this offense under Chan Gailey, who he had probably his best years with in Buffalo, drafting maybe that younger quarterback, whether it be Hundley, whether it be Petty, whether it be Mariota, having him sit for a couple of years, and then maybe when that team is older and they're retired and whatnot, they'd be ready to really step in. I understand that Ryan Fitzpatrick not the best to learn from, but he's a smart guy and he's a professional.
Fitzpatrick, very smart guy, without a doubt. And yeah, he had his best year at Chan Gailey. Did they have a winning season?
No, but it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, and it was the Bills.
Right. I thought they had that 5-game winning streak.
They didn't have.
Then people were going insane.
They didn't have the kind of weapons that the
I think
Jets
Matt Jameson threw a parade. Going way back in our
yeah,
Plattsburgh days there.
Yeah, Matt O'Leary too.
Oh boy. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes, Fitzpatrick would be great to teach these kids because he's a responsible guy. He's very smart. Went to Harvard.
Great beard.
But no, if you're going to spend all this money for right now, why draft a guy who's not going to be ready for 4 years? Doesn't make any sense.
I got you.
That'd be like buying new wheels for a car you're going to buy in 4 years.
Yep.
No point.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I would argue is just that, they kind of did that with Aaron Rodgers a little bit. The Packers did. They let him sit, and that doesn't happen anymore. Everybody's got to come up and they got to play right away. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I agree with you, but at the same time, I think there has to be something said for having a talented young quarterback come in and have him hold the clipboard for a couple of years because not everybody that comes in is ready right out of college.
I totally agree, but comparing Aaron and the Green Bay draft situation to anything else is wrong.
I saw Mariota, an article today. They compared Mariota to what happened with Brett Favre in 2005, or not Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers in 2005.
But here's the thing with Aaron. Aaron was the number 1 overall pick, or he should have been. Mariota's nowhere close. He's being pushed up the draft boards because he's a quarterback. Aaron fell, as far as like the 20s to Green Bay. It wasn't that Green Bay planned on taking Rodgers. He was just there. And Green Bay was like, well, we're not going to play him, but he's the best quarterback in this draft, obviously. Let's take him.
Well, not according to San Francisco.
Well, San Fran was in a really dark place. But, yeah, that's totally different. For a team to take Mariota with a 6th pick would be reaching. Taking Rodgers in the 20th is having gold land in your lap. Totally different situations. So, I would argue that, yes, these players need time to sit, but they're not Aaron Rodgers. None of them will ever be Aaron Rodgers.
No, I don't think so. All right, what players specifically should the Jets look to target in this draft? Position players.
All right, so I would say you're looking at these guys. Inside linebacker is kind of a weak position, so I would say maybe not even worry about it right now. They got back Harris.
They did
so
sign Harris.
Maybe later, 5th, 6th round, you can get somebody. I'm not even going to mention anyone at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Outside linebacker, though, there are a ton of guys. There's Fowler from Florida, Ray from Missouri, Beasley from Clemson, and Gregory from Nebraska. All high draft picks. Right now, I have the Jets taking Fowler. Because it looks like Jacksonville might take Fowler or Ray. Ray's a good player. I haven't finished my report on Fowler, but from what I've seen, he looks ridiculous. If they can grab one of those two guys, it would be a kind of a luxury pick because outside linebacker is a need for them, but it's not huge.
They get enough pressure with their defensive line
exactly,
as is, and
yeah,
they can stop the run, but it would be nice to have that off-the-edge type guy, because they haven't really had that.
Well, they have Copels, who does his best to do that way. No, he really should have been a 4-3 defensive end, but he's doing his best at 3-4 outside linebacker, and they still have pace to do his thing. But if they can get Fowler, that would be ridiculous. Because the top of this draft is loaded with outside linebackers.
Is that somebody you think they should draft at 6?
If Fowler is there.
If they don't do the Rivers trade and whatnot?
If they don't do the Rivers trade, if Fowler is sitting there, they better hop on him.
All right. Now, let's shift a little bit. Stick with the Jets, but did you like what they did in the offseason? Obviously, you're not a Jet fan, you're a Giant fan, but they brought in, the 2 corners. They re-signed Harris. They bring in Marshall. They bring in Fitzpatrick. All these different moves. You like what they did?
I like everything they did besides one move. The cutting Harvin thing didn't make any sense to me. I understand he makes $10 million next year, which is ridiculous. But what was the point of trading for him last year if you weren't planning on keeping him? They were already out when they got him, so they just wasted a 6th-round draft pick. I think you bring someone in like Rivers. Imagine that receiving core. You spread out the field a little bit. You put Curley and Harvin in the slot position. You can move them around a little bit. You have Decker, Marshall on the outside. That's an elite offense.
That's not just an elite offense. That's actually a competent offense, something the Jets haven't had in a long time.
They were 22nd in yards last year and 28th in points. I looked it up. I had to. But yeah, imagine that offense. And I remember seeing when Marshall got there, I was so excited because, Decker is a good outside guy, but Harvin and Curley are not outside receivers. When they got Marshall, I was like, wow, this is a team that can really spread the field on you. And you pair those guys up with the running backs that we talked about before and Jason Morrow. That's a ridiculous offense. Just all they need is that quarterback. But no, they got rid of Harvin. It's still going to be good.
Geno Smith. Michael Vick's still out there.
You really? I think we should go out and invest millions of dollars in Matt Flynn.
That's right. Yes.
That worked out last time.
That worked out well. Yes. Very good. All right. So you do like the off-season moves. You like bringing back Revis. You like bringing back even Cromartie.
They both had great years. Not bringing them back was stupid.
I think it was stupid they didn't bring him back the first time around.
I definitely agree with you.
All right. So what's more important in this draft for the Jets? To finish up on the Jets here, defense or offense?
I think we've seen it's offense, but because this draft is very defensive heavy, you don't want to reach. So try to get the trade for Rivers. If not, take Fowler.
Like you said, though, they need some cornerback, or not some quarterback, they need some safety help. They drafted Calvin Pryor last year. He had, to say the least, a disappointing year last year.
It wasn't great.
He was playing in a defense that was lacking everywhere in the secondary. So he was probably asked to do a little bit too much.
Right.
So either in the secondary with at safety, or maybe an offensive lineman.
The thing is, safety is not a good position this year also, so they can go 2nd, 3rd round, and they need a guard, which is really not a 1st-round pick. They can be, again, 2nd, 3rd round. So try to make that trade if you can. If not, outside linebacker it is.
All right, and that's going to wrap up our locals here, the Jets and the Giants. Stay tuned. We'll come right back with Matt. We'll get into the top 10, his top 10 of the draft board in this 2015 class. We'll get into the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. They had a bunch of losses this offseason. And, of course, I have to do it, the Green Bay Packers. Stay tuned. This is The Word with G. We'll be right back.